Okay, default parameter or argument, right? Default parameter or argument. So the next one is default parameter. How we can say the default parameter? What is the concept? The purpose of this mechanism is that when the formal parameter or parameter values are common for the all functions call, then those common values must be taken as a default value in the formal parameters. In the function heading, you can say so such type of formal parameter is known as default parameter. Means all these parameters are going to become a same. Okay, same parameter. So here you are writing the in the when we write the function definition, there must be the parameter. Okay, so that's the same parameter we are going to use in the argument. Okay, for calling that one, calling that one. So that means we can say these are default parameters. So if you want a common value, for example, pi, pi value is 3.14. That is a common for all to find the area of circle, to find the circumference of circle. So pi is a common. So one of the variable you can take parameter as a common parameter in the function call. So that is known as default parameter. See the syntax, define a functions and nth number of parameter you can use here. You can say that is a formal parameters and you can call here parameter 1, 2, 3, 4. We can say that is known as a positional parameters. Okay, already we have seen the positional parameter. And parameter n is called as a default parameter. How you can say it is a default parameter? We are assigning this value. All this parameter we have defined, that is known as a positional parameter or order parameter. And here we are assigning this value. The order may be anything. Pi is equal to 3.14. I am assigning here. Okay, Pi is equal to 3.14 and this Pi variable you can use the function calling also, no problem. So Pi is equal to 3.14. This type of parameters or this type of argument we can say default parameters or argument. So here 1 2 3 4 are nth number तक हम बोलेंगे positional parameter and here sorry यहाँ तक हम positional बोलेंगे. Here parameter n value is equal to something. Okay, so that is known as default parameter. The rule is that the default parameter must be written after the positional parameter and they must be used as a last parameter. So we cannot write okay def add a comma b. What are these parameter? That is known as positional parameter, guys. Okay, and c is equal to I am writing 10. C is equal to 10. Okay, c is equal to 10. That is also the formal parameter because it is written in the function heading. So this type of parameter known as default parameter. Okay, this is known as default parameter. So if you return here def add, now if you return here c is equal to 10 comma a comma b, is it not valid? Okay, so the Python compiler is not having this rule. Okay, so this rule is that a default parameter must be written after the positional parameter and they must use as a last parameter. Always use, this is a rule. Okay, that's a Python or compiler rule. Python compiler rule है ये. So we can't use here because the function cannot understand. Function calling understand नहीं करेगा because the function calling understand from here. Left से चालू होता है उनका read करना data यहाँ से. So if you read like this one, so it can't understand by the compiler functions. So that's why it must be written in the last side. तो हमेशा जो पोजिशनल मतलब जो डिफॉल्ट पैरामीटर है दैट इज वैल्यू जब हम पास करें दैट इज अ डिफॉल्ट पैरामीटर दैट इज ऑलवेज रीड इन द लास्ट वे. ओके, सो वी क्लियर दिस वन विथ एग्जांपल. सो विल ट्राई दिस वन टू राइट फर्स्ट. ओके, फर्स्टली हम चेक करते हैं लिख के whether it is work or not. Okay, you can find out, no problem. So take one example. save as default parameter example 1. Okay, so the best example you can take for circle wala area. Okay. So here we can write default example for default parameters. Okay, so take one variable, sorry, function name, any function name. If you want to find area, suppose area is the name of function. Then the parameters we are taking, how many parameter require, radius and pi value required. Okay, radius and pi. Pi is equal to 3.14 I am writing. Okay, which type of argument is this? It's a positional argument. Sorry, R is a positional argument. R is a positional argument. Okay, and py is what? Default argument. Default parameters are argument, you can say. So here we can take the variable area of circle is equal to something calculation you can do now. Pi r square, pi into r. Okay, print radius is equal to जो आपने इंटर करेंगे रेडियस वो हम प्रिंट कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे डॉट फॉर्मेट ऑफ आर. ओके, कैन डिफाइन हियर. पहले फंक्शन डिफाइन करते हैं. सो कैन डिफाइन वन फंक्शन टू फाइंड द सर्कम्फरेंस ऑफ सर्कल. सो सर्कम नाम का फंक्शन लिखते हैं हम यहाँ पे. पी आई लिखते हैं 3.14. सो वी कैन से इट्स अ पोजिशनल पैरामीटर्स. ओके, this is the positional parameters. So in this function I am taking here the radius r. Okay, so float can input. Okay, so right here enter the radius. Enter the radius. Enter the radius for, you can say, the calculating the circumference of circle. Calculating circumference of circle. Okay, so this radius is for to calculate the circumference of circle. So now I am writing here the formula circumference of circle. Okay, cc is equal to circumference of circle is equal to 2 pi r. 2 pi r. Okay, 2 pi r into r. Pi is also inbuilt in the math module. Okay, so we are not taking this one. So you can print here radius, and you can print here this radius and calculate this area. Circumference, sorry. एरिया निकालने के लिए रेडियस अलग ले रहे हैं, सर्कमफरेंस निकालने के लिए रेडियस अलग ले रहे हैं. सो नाउ वी कैन प्रिंट हियर radius. Okay, circumference of circle. Circumference of circle is equal to this one. Dot format of cc. Okay, now we can print here radius is equal to this one, and I want to take from keyboard. So go to the main program to find To find the area of circle, so I am taking the radius from keyboard from main function. Main से हम लेंगे radius. Same radius you can take. Okay. R is same. Enter the radius. Enter the radius for calculating the area of circle. Okay, area of circle. Okay, now call this function area of A. Okay, that's it. So now the see the flow. Then we need to write here the area of circle is equal to this. Print this here. Okay, area of circle. AC. Okay. Hey, there are two functions here. One is area and dusra is circumference. Okay, two functions are here. See, and in these two functions, in this function, positional parameters plus default parameter we use. Okay, this is R is a positional parameter and Pi is equal to default parameter. Okay, so this default parameter we also use here. Okay, in this function we have only the default parameter. ठीक है, सो एग्जीक्यूशन कैसा हो रहा है? सो सबसे पहले मेन में आएगा. ओके, सो मेन में आने के बाद सबसे पहली लाइन क्या आएगी? एंटर द रेडियस फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग द एरिया ऑफ सर्कल. तो हियर एरिया नाम का जो फंक्शन है वो कॉल होगा. ओके, एरिया नाम का फंक्शन कॉल होगा तो यहाँ पे जाएगा. ठीक है, उसके बाद रेडियस क्या लिया आपने? 3.5 कंसिडर करो तो रेडियस प्रिंट हो गया 3.5 और एरिया ऑफ सर्कल प्रिंट होगा. कैलकुलेटेड होने के बाद जो भी है वो कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा. ठीक है, आफ्टर डैट ये होने के बाद टर्मिनल और यहाँ पे चला जाएगा. हमने कैलकुलेट तो नहीं किया, कॉल तो नहीं किया. ओके, सो वी नीड टू कॉल. ओके, सो हियर अगेन वी नीड टू कॉल दिस डेफिनेशन सरकम. ओके, सरकम वी नीड टू कॉल दिस फंक्शन. नाउ ये प्रिंट हो गया, दैट्स ओके. नाउ अगेन calling this function, so again it will print to the output enter the radius for calculating circumference of circle. First of all I am only calculate the area. Okay, so now see here default, what is the name of this? Default para x. Okay, python default para x1 dot py. Okay, enter the radius of for calculating the area of circle. Okay, so now here line number 16 area is missing. Okay, area missing one required positional parameter, that is what? R. So are you getting my point? Are you passing any argument? Are you pass any argument here? No. Okay, so how many argument formal parameters are here? Two formal parameter we can say. Okay, but one is the positional and second is the default. Second is what? Default, right? Okay, so here what you have to write? एरिया में क्या लिखना पड़ेगा मुझे? टेल मी. आर्गुमेंट only R. Very good, only R. Okay, only R, no need to write this one, right? So now see here what is my error. What was my error? Area missing one required positional argument R. How it is easy? पाइथन कितना इजी है, सिंपली हमको आंसर दे दिया. दिस इज टाइप एरर. ओके, एरिया मिसिंग वन रिक्वायर्ड पोजिशनल पैरामीटर प्रॉपरली बता रहा है कि पोजिशनल पैरामीटर इज मिसिंग. मीन्स पोजिशनल मीन्स okay, default parameter means value. Okay, so pass here, we pass here R. Now let us see. Okay, enter the radius for calculating area of circle 3.5. Okay, so radius is 3.5 and area of circle is something. Okay, that is calculated. Now call this function also. Okay, circumference को भी call करेंगे. So circum Okay, so any required here to pass any argument? No required. Okay, it's a default parameter or arguments because it's a default parameter. Okay, so now once again radius. Okay, then this is one. Now we can see here enter the radius for calculating circumference of circle. So I'm entering here 3.5 same. Okay, so now what is my meaning is that so here I am going to change this position. Okay, I always told you कि जब हम R लिखते हैं so it's read only this one. अब ये अभी ये R की वैल्यू हमारे हिसाब से जो हम रेडियस की वैल्यू पास करेंगे वो पाई की वैल्यू होनी चाहिए 3.14 जानी चाहिए है क्या नहीं तो ये एरर देगा सो दैट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल इन पाइथन है ना ओके सो व्हाट इज़ एन एरर R position here okay non-default argument follows the default argument. So non-default argument that follows the arguments. Okay, what is that here? Non-default argument that follows the default argument. So that is the error. Okay, so here we can see the number of argument function must be used in the same number of formal parameters. That is a positional parameters, and you can see here the default parameter. This one. Okay, the rule is here that default parameter must be written after the positional parameter. So this is very important. So we can't write like this way. Okay, so I'm removing this one. So I hope you understand this one. Okay, so now this is okay, and you can run this Python program now. Enter the radius of circle 3.5. Okay, we are getting this value.